It's a Manchu. Welcome back to Minecraft Bedrock vs. Java, where I play through both versions of the game and compare them. Today in Skyblock, I want to make iron farms. But before I get started with that, I just have to say that these videos are a lot of work to put together. It typically takes me about 3 days to put out one of these videos, and putting out 2 videos a week for this channel, plus a video a week for the other channel, it's tough to do. So this video is likely not going to be coming out on Thursday as I had planned, and I'm going to have to reevaluate my schedule because I may not be able to continue to do at this pace, put these videos out at this pace, but we'll see. Anyway, I am going to make an iron farm today in Java Edition and Bedrock Edition, and starting out with Java Edition. Iron farm is probably the most important farm that I need to build, at least it's the one I need to build first. Iron ingots are the second most common ingredient for crafting recipes in Minecraft, second only to wood. So you use iron for a lot of things, and I need iron for a lot of things. In fact, I could use more iron for building the iron farm, which I don't really have. I'll set up the iron farm and then add to it with some of the iron I get early on. Down here in this chest, I believe I have right down here everything I'm going to need to make this farm, I think. Unless there's something else that I forgot that I have to grab later, but this should be enough. So I guess I'll just get started with a time lapse. When I'm done, I'll explain what I did. Okay, as iron farms go, this is not the most efficient in the world, but it's going to have to do. It bothers my OCD a little bit that I can't get that zombie to fall down into this composter. It's kind of standing on top of the composter. I can't figure out why. I haven't been able to get it in position, no matter what. I fear that in this position, it's not scaring the villagers often enough. They don't see it often enough. But, I don't know, it's working anyway. The iron farm is working. I am getting iron golems to spawn enough so that I was able to make 9 hoppers to feed into these 3 chests. I'm using soul campfires here instead of a lava blade because I don't have a lot of lava sources right now. I have 2 lava sources and that's it. Maybe at some point I can upgrade this and put a lava blade in here, but I don't know that it's really necessary. At the rate that iron golems spawn in, I just don't think I can improve the rates any by killing the iron golems a little bit faster. The soul campfires I had to make using soul sand, even though it requires 1 soul sand each. That left me with 2 soul sand in order to grow nether wart for my potions, but soul sand is renewable. Soul soil is not. And I didn't want to use up 9 of the 10 soul soil that I have, because I don't think I can ever find more. Not that I have much use for the soul soil, but you never know. Maybe I'd want to someday expand the basalt generator, in which case I'll need more soul soil to do that. But I'd say that's somewhat successful. It's not an overwhelming success, but it's pretty good. I have a shield now because I got iron, and no extra iron now, but I'll AFK here for a while and see if I get much more iron, hopefully, and then go over into the Bedrock Edition world and make an iron farm there. It's going to be a lot more complicated, but maybe it'll work a little bit better. Alright, before we go to Bedrock Edition, one last thing. Actually, a couple last things. I have been AFK here for a while at this iron farm, and I had a few issues with the iron farm. There's, once in a while, like occasionally I will get an iron golem spawning outside of the water trap up here. And that's why I put these leaf blocks down, hoping that I'll prevent that. The iron golem was supposed to appear somewhere in a 16 by 13 by 16 area centered on the villager that summoned it. And not necessarily the very center of the farm, because the center of the farm, which is right over the villagers' heads, directly over that bed where they're at, if that was the only place the villagers were and they summon iron golems, they should never be outside the water trap. But, you know, occasionally they'll be a little bit closer and they show up over here. That's a problem because I had a full platform here underneath that composter, and the iron golem would just walk over and kill the zombie. This is like the 3rd zombie, I think. I've had to replace him a couple times, and I dug out the floor and put these trapdoors here, hoping that that'll fool the iron golem into thinking it can walk over to the zombie and it'll fall into the void and die. So I think it's all working good now. But the thing I wanted to cut back into Java Edition for a minute for is the villager breeder. I've been told before that if you build a breeder like this, to turn it off so that the villagers will stop breeding. And I thought, well, that's stupid. You don't need to do that. As soon as you have as many villagers as bed, it'll just turn off automatically. That's true in Bedrock Edition. That is not true in Java Edition. What's happening is, when a baby villager appears, it will see one of these beds and things that can pathfind to it because of the trapdoors, and it will link to one of the beds. Then it falls into this holding cell area here, and at that point it can no longer pathfind to any beds. And when nighttime comes and it wants to go to the bed, it can't get to it, it unlinks from that bed. That means this villager breeder is always going to have unclaimed beds. As long as there are unclaimed beds in the village, the villagers will try to breed. In Bedrock Edition, villagers can link to beds or workstations even if they can't pathfind to them, just so long as they're within a certain range. And that means this very exact type of villager breeder build in Bedrock Edition, once I got to 7 villagers in this holding cell area, it turns off automatically. I don't have to do anything. But here, I'm getting to the point where I have so many freaking villagers in there, I might start losing some to anti-decramiting. So I got to shut this thing off. Normally the way you do that is to block line of sight for the villagers inside the area here so they can't see the unclaimed beds, and then they'll stop breeding. But I didn't really design this breeder to be able to do that easily, so I'm just going to go ahead and break these beds. And I will put them in a chest to store them someplace until such time as I might need more villagers. Although I can't imagine that's ever going to happen because I have so many villagers now. I have more villagers than I'm ever going to know what to do with. But at least that should shut it off. The beds in the iron farm aren't going to be a problem for that because they are claimed beds. The 3 villagers in the iron farm are using those 3 beds. They are claimed. So picking up all those beds means there's no more unclaimed beds. They should stop breeding. I hope. Alright. Now I think I might AFK a little bit longer here. Like I said, I had some issues before, so the iron farm has not been functioning this whole time because while I was AFK, an iron golem would sneak in and kill the zombie. But I've accumulated a decent amount of iron so far. I will AFK a little bit longer here while I go over to Bedrock Edition and start making iron farm there. Uh-oh. Remember what happened in my last playthrough? Remember what happened in my last series of Bedrock versus Java? Remember what happened to my Bedrock world? Well, it didn't happen this time. I had a moment of panic there, but it's fine. And I really wasn't worried because I had just backed this world up. I just had a backup copy made, so even if there had been a problem, I'm good. Back up your worlds, kids. So I'm here in the Bedrock world, and I have actually encountered the Wandering Trader. From the Wandering Trader, I was able to acquire Horned Coral Block, yay. Sea Pickles, yay. At least I have those things. But also pumpkin and sugar cane. So I've been able to plant those things down here. Somewhere. Where'd I plant them? Yeah, over here. I added to the farm. So now I have pumpkins growing. And over here I have sugarcane growing. That is wonderful. Wonderful that I finally have those things. Alright, as you can see, my villager breeder here has 7 villagers. And there will not be any more. Although, okay, maybe I'll get some kittens, but I won't get any more villager babies. I need to pick a spot for the iron farm, and it has to be far away from this. Unlike a Java edition, the iron golem is going to appear in a position relative to the center of the village, not the villager that summoned it. So I need to control where the center of the village is, and it can't be here. That won't work. Hey, buddy! How you doing? Take some slime balls. That's nice. Should I buy sand? Thing is, sand is not a renewable resource in Bedrock Edition Skyblock. It is in Java Edition Skyblock, and I will probably set up a farm for it. But I can't get more sand in Bedrock Edition. Okay. That's set up. I'm only going to make one level here because of a change that was made to the way Iron Golems spawn in now in Bedrock Edition. It's similar to Java Edition. Similar in the respect that the Iron Golem is going to spawn on the highest spawnable space at a certain coordinate where it chooses to spawn. So if I made 2 levels, it would always spawn on the top level anyway. Alright, there's my first villager of 20. Now, let's see. I was able to get enough iron. This version of Skyblock was kind enough to provide me with enough iron to make 16 rails and a minecart. That's going to help me a lot to corral these villagers and get them in place. Still, it's going to be like herding cats. Let's see. Get in there. There we go. It makes my life easier. I don't think he can get out. Alright. Normally I would do things in a certain order. I would get all the villagers in place, then place down the beds, then give them all workstations. But you can see I'm setting this up a little fancier than I normally would for an iron farm because I'm going to use this as trading hall as well. I want to trade with these villagers. I want to be able to turn them into zombies and cure them. But I can't have the center of the village ever change. So if I take this bed and place it down, it should get claimed. This villager should claim that bed. And then that should become the center of the village. And then that villager I will never turn into a zombie. I'll leave that one alone. Because if the villager that's claimed the bed that's the center of the village becomes a zombie, they'll unlink from the bed and the center of the village will move. Okay, there we go. He's finally claimed it. Okay. So I need to make a note somehow that this villager has to be left alone. Cannot mess with that villager. There we go. That's Mr. Mayor. That should tell me to not mess with that guy. Yeah, now I just gotta get 19 more villagers. Piece of cake. Get in the cart. 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 Why are you being like that? Get in the damn cart. Get in the minecart. Get in the minecart. Why are you the way you are? Do I have to punch you? Come on! Get in. Get in. Get in the minecart. Oh my god! I'm continually fighting with this guy. They will not move. Oh! You were a pain in my butt. In theory, I need 2 more villagers. I have a dilemma here. That breeder's 100 blocks away from here, but they were using the beds. Definitely the villagers in the breeder were counting these beds when it came to whether or not they could breed. They were counting them as unclaimed beds. So if that breeder is counted as the same village as this iron farm, I'm going to have a problem. And I don't know how I'm going to fix it. Well, I have 20 villagers. I have 20 beds. I'm nervous because I'm really worried that I put it too close to that breeder and it's going to count as one village and the whole thing's going to be broken. Let's hope this works. Alright, so here's a routine. I have 20 beds, I have 20 villagers. They should all be linked to one of these beds. Now I need them to all have workstations. I'm going to use barrels. For one thing, they're cheap to make. For another thing, I'll eventually be repurposing some of these barrels, and I can find other uses for them. You're the dude. Claim this one. Really? That guy. That guy claimed it. You're more than 150 blocks away. How? How? I was saving these guys, but that's not going to work. No, you got to go. Okay. It's working. Oh, that was rough. That was a hard thing to do. I had to eliminate the other villagers. I don't know how to put that delicately. They all had to die. I'm very sorry I had to do that. Now, a couple of them were turned into zombies in the zombie spawner, so maybe they'll be persistent and they'll stick around and I could cure them sometime if I need them. I'm hoping I probably are not going to need them. Well, I think it's safe to say this took a long time to set up. Unfortunately, I had to get rid of all other villagers. That breeding area, the villager breeder, was just, it was like over 100 blocks away, but it was too close. And this entire iron farm and the villager breeder counted as all one village. So I had to get rid of all of the other villagers. That's okay, though, because I have 20 villagers here. And that's plenty enough for a trading hall. If I need more villagers, I could add more villagers and more beds to the iron farm. That's fine. Of course, I have to get more villagers somehow. That's another issue, because I had to get rid of the breeder. But I'll deal with that another time if necessary. You can see I have all iron gear now. This iron farm is working very effectively. How much more of iron have I got here? A little bit. Not too much, but I've used iron to get myself full iron gear, and I made these 9 hoppers. So I'm doing pretty well here, and I've only been here like maybe 10 minutes. Not too long. This is working very effectively. Probably more effectively than the iron farm and Java Edition world that I made. Not that it's a competition. Either one gives me plenty of iron for my needs for the future. And if you made it this far in this video, you probably liked what you saw, so click on the like button. And if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to my channel. But as you can see, as trading halls go, it's all fishermen. It's not really much of a trading hall. And I'm going to work on building a trading hall in Java Edition and improving on this trading hall to get me all the different kinds of villagers so I can get upgraded from iron gear to diamond gear. Next time on Chooses Minecraft Java vs. Bedrock.